Okay, moving on to the Euro US dollar now. As you can see from this daily chart, the last sort of couple of weeks have been a bit kind of random up and down. So it does kind of look like it could possibly be trying to find the bottom here now. And with the weekly TD buy setup already in place, and having made quite a positive week last week, and then this week we've sort of given a lot of that back. But I wouldn't be at all surprised if we've seen a bounce here and maybe form the TDF buy setup by the end of this week. Obviously, the week coming. But if we look at this overall on sort of the monthly chart, we're bearish here on the monthly. We've gone through the trend continuation point, so I would say that, although we've obviously had this big bear run recently, I would certainly say that the overall sort of bear trend has certainly kicked in now, and we've removed the previous low 1.2330 as well, which was the obviously the trend continuation point. It looks like we're going to remove this 1.2456 level to the monthly close, but with the weekly TD buy setup in place, I'd be a wee bit sort of careful at looking to just sell that 1.2456 level, and quite possibly like 5 minute setups on the TDF at that level might be a possibility. But having said that, looking at the monthly chart, obviously we could still see a retest right up to this 1.3212 area, which was obviously supported and then removed to the close. So it's a bit of a funny bar, this one, because obviously we're going to remove it to the close, but it was quite tight. The high there was 1.3361, so it's not too much. Not just a great deal of room there. If we had a bar like this and we closed somewhere here, you'd look for a nice retest. But being so far away from it now, a retest is probably a bit less likely. And obviously, if we want to form a real sort of 9 count here, we've got to have sort of bar 8 or 9 has got to be lower than this month's low, which is 1.2143. So, the risk is just for this basically to continue, I would say. I don't know if we will quite get up to that 1.3212 area, to be honest. So, maybe looking at this 1.2456 on a 5 minute chart on a retest. So, we'll remove that to the close tomorrow night. 1.2456. Did I already have it up there? Just about. Okay, so 1.2456 is the big monthly level. So if we do get a retest there, it might be worth looking at it on a 5 minute chart, because using this TDF method here, you can get in with really low risks, like 10 to 20 pips on the Euro US dollar. So it could be worth even just taking one position, two positions, and seeing how you go from there. Basically, just kind of taking a cautious approach, I would say, just with this weekly buy setup in place. So looking at the weekly chart with the buy setup in place, obviously if we get up to the 1.2894, then obviously it's all go to sell. So the 1.3092 level is your last thrust resistance level. So I'd expect that to be quite a big barrier. Yeah, so it's kind of hard to tell, but looking at this, it does look like it's trying to make a bottom, but we've seen this before in this pair, but this time we do have a 9 count, excuse me, we do have a 9 count buy setup in place, so we could possibly get a bounce here. So yeah, so overall, a bit of a tough one to call. The daily chart has been looking quite messy, and the monthly chart is going to remove a key level to the close. But again, obviously the risk is to to test some of this bar from last month. Obviously, if you were going just by pure thrust trading, you would have your risk, 900 pips the high. So it's a very high risk that we could see some of this bar retraced. So I would be careful on this one and just look at the 5 minute, possibly 15 minute chart for a failure of this level. But other than that, yeah, I don't really see anything else that I would like to do. Possibly if we hang around here and keep trying to make this bottom and we maybe produce an inside day, I would favour taking a buy of the breakout. Breakout of the high on that one, still having this 9 count in place waiting for a thrust. That's what I would be looking to do this week if we get an opportunity like that, I would say. I mean, it's not really contradicting what I'm looking at in the monthly chart, because obviously markets can go in both ways, so you have to kind of prepare for both scenarios. And there is the scenario that we could fail this level here, but there's a high risk involved there, so I would look to just the 5-minute chart. But then on the weekly chart, there is also the scenario that we could have a bit of a bounce up to the 1.3 level. So zooming into next the daily chart, if we had an inside day there, I would favour buying a breakout, looking for that 1.3 level. So yeah, so there's the kind of options there. So we'll see how it goes going into after Monday, and see if there's anything doing, and I'll keep you updated on the video. Okay, cheers.